Hi.
Hi.
Am I crazy or did we move back? Did this something move in here?
No.
No.
Oh, I feel like the chairs moved back, but maybe my mind is just going.
Yeah. Ready?
Yep. Mm.
That's the sound of a ice cold Celsius.
Well, here we can Celsius cheers today.
Cheers. Okay. Good morning.
What's the latest?
The latest and greatest. Well, it's Friday.
Sure is.
Sure is.
Should we just jump right into it?
Yeah.
Should we get to some Heauxmetown Heroes?
Heauxmetown Heroes. Yeah.
Welcome to Disrespectfully
With Katie Maloney.
and Dana Cathan.
Unapologetically.
We're here to do what we want to do.
Spilling the tea.
Babe, you're going to see the power of women, like
Disrespectfully. Joni says, "Hi, ladies. My name is Joni, pronounced Joni." I guess I don't need to read that. I've been a huge fan of both of you for years now, and your episodes make me feel sane during crazy work weeks. Dana, I lost my mom when I was 16, and hearing you talk about how you cope with the loss of your mom is so healing. Before I begin my story, I want to suggest 2 horror movies that left me gagged. If you don't mind subtitles, please watch When Evil Lurks. It's an Argentinian movie in Spanish, but worth the watch. High Tension is another amazing movie with crazy gore that'll keep you on the edge of your seat the entire time. As a total horror junkie, my jaw was on the floor during the entirety of both these masterpieces. Do you like horror?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you?
Mhm.
Have you seen either of those?
No.
For some reason, I feel like I've seen High Tension, but I would need to look up the movie poster. This Argentinian reminds me of another one that I always forget about. Did you ever see Victoria on Netflix?
That sounds familiar.
It's in Spanish, so it's subtitles, and it was terrifying. I think it was in a Netflix original and truly so scary. So if you're looking for one, that one kept me up for a few nights.
I'll have to go back and look at it.
Mostly because it was possession and was
I watched Platform 2 on Netflix the other night. Did you watch the first Platform?
no, what's
That
that?
movie's just disturbing.
What's the premise?
It's almost like a prison-like tower that these people elect to go to, and they all have something that they're trying to work through or get past their own, whatever. And they all get to choose a meal that they want to eat. Pizza, whatever, chicken, I don't know. And then they don't know what level of the platform they're going to be in. There's the platform that comes down the center of this tower, and basically all the food is on it. So the people at the top, it's supposed to be like a system that they're all supposed to abide by, only eat your meal. But people don't. And there's, they don't know how many levels there are, but it gets nuts.
Wait, is this a Netflix original?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Why have I never heard of this? I'm totally going to look it up.
It's
Also,
fucked
I'd be
up.
so mad if someone ate my pizza.
Oh, they get mad.
Okay, I'm going to watch that.
They don't know how long they're going to be there. I mean, it's yeah. Anyways, watch
I can't
it.
imagine what problems you would have that you're like, I want to go sit in a tower and see if my pizza arrives. That would solve that, but I guess I'll have to tune in.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a type of therapy I'll be seeking, but
Mm-hmm. Okay.
your
Anyways,
own.
back to story. Now for the story. You mentioned you wanted to hear stories of us as children being insane. So here's a story that will be engraved in all my friends and family's brains forever as a lesson learned the hard way. When I was about 8 years old, my mom let me get a Hannah Montana landline phone to put in my bedroom. I was the only person who had my own phone in 2nd grade. What? And I was the coolest kid in my friend group because of it. All my friends would come over to prank call people and would have a blast. Around the same time was when we all had the Kick app on our iPad touches. What is the Kick app?
Okay, hold on. Let me look this up because I actually didn't know when I was reading this. Do you know?
I know what Kick is.
Okay, you tell us.
It's kind of like
iPod
it's a
Touch.
messaging app, but it was I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a WhatsApp, but you're able to talk to anyone, really.
I know. I was like, maybe
Oh.
I'm aging myself here, but I was around when iPod Touches were around, so I just don't. But I also never had one, so maybe I don't remember.
I don't even know what that is.
I was assuming it was something like Roblox, but then I was like, wait, this person can't be too different in age of us because they had a landline. And who
I
the
had
fuck has
very
landlines?
early generations of iPods, so that's really aging myself. Anyways, there were obviously a million creeps on the app. And one day, some random person tried messaging me and calling me through the number associated with my Kick app. I didn't know how old this person was or their gender or anything about them. So my stupid blinding, trusting 8-year-old self replied to this person saying, "This is not my real phone number," and gave them my house phone number. Then they asked me a few questions, including where I lived. So I gave him my freaking address. Oh my God. Minutes later, my super amazing Hannah Montana phone rang. And to my surprise, I heard an extremely deep voice of a middle-aged man on the other line asking, "Hi there. I'm looking for Joni. Is she around?" I absolutely flipped out and started screaming and crying, thinking someone is going to come and kidnap me now. My parents, who are confused, concerned, and furious, call the police, and I get brought in for questioning. Oh my God, Joni. Turns out, after a short search, this guy was not some serial killer or pedophile or a leader of a child sex ring, but just a salesman trying to sell my family insurance. Needless to say, that Hannah Montana landline got snatched away faster than ever. By the way, my parents did teach me better than this. I just had no thoughts in my brain about any sort of consequences, especially since the mobile online era was sort of just beginning. Oh my God.
Okay, obviously Joni's so lucky that it was only just an insurance salesman, but what do you know about Roblox?
I don't know.
Does
anything.
Dot do that?
I don't know what Roblox is.
It's an app. I actually don't even totally know what it is either. Do you know? It's like it's kids love it though. What I know is that kids love it. You can spend real money on it and like get things for your little worlds or something. I would liken it to probably like The Sims, like something like, but like you build little worlds. Same but different. Don't come for my throat if that's not a direct comparison. But there's like messaging features and stuff, and creeps are infiltrating it and are talking to kids, like, and their parents aren't knowing. And I don't totally know like how this is happening, but there was ring camera footage. This kid was jumping on a trampoline and a truck pulls up and is like, "Are you so-and-so?" And the kid was like, "Yeah." And it's like, "Hey, we've been talking on Roblox." And the mom comes out and is like, "Who the fuck are you?" So anyway, the kid had given their home address and this creep showed up at their house looking for the kid.
Oh my God.
So luckily that's not what happened for Joni. Yeah, I'm like, get off Roblox, you freak.
Ew. Well, that's frightening.
Terrifying. So check your kids' Roblox is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Wait, is there, Allison, anything to add to that in terms of what Roblox is? Or
I mean, you basically just have like a virtual avatar and you can play all these different games with other people and you can talk to them and
yeah.
Yeah, hate it.
Here, I'm going to solve this entire problem. Let's get rid of the Roblox and bring Tamagotchis back. Because guess what? You can't chat with anyone on those.
I love it. Here
Great.
for it.
Okay, this one's short, but I thought it was really funny. Sybil says, "When I was 19, there was a truck driver guy I had met and hooked up with when he would come through town. Don't judge, the sex was amazing.
Right.
We are not judging you. Good for you. Anyways, my best friend and I were going to a concert and didn't want to drive the 3 hours home and were too broke to afford a hotel room. He only lived 20 minutes away from the venue and he offered us to stay with him. We pull up to this nice brick house. He tells us that it's his parents' house. Okay, no biggie. Until he points to the truck, which has a Capri camper on the back of it. He says, that's where we're staying. We were so tired and too broke to go anywhere else. So I'm sad to say I had sex with him in his camper with my friend on the top bunk. This was 15 years ago and she still gives me hell about it. Imagine if you thought you were staying in a home and you pull up and it's like, I can't even believe there was a top bunk because I'm just picturing the thing that's like over. Let me Google
Well,
it.
I'm picturing like a camper, like a
Let's see.
like a camper van. Like there's like a little bunk that like hangs over like the driver's seat or something.
Okay, yeah, no, this was what I was picturing, but I guess I didn't know that it had multiple levels, but I guess I could see that it would be like a 2-bed area. That is so funny. Having to be in, we thought the hostel group sex was bad.
I mean,
this
listen,
is like,
when you're 19, you don't really have like, your standards are like, whatever.
I mean, there's just this, the friend is like, there's nothing left in the imagination in that space. You're like basically having sex in a sarcophagus.
Yeah.
Like, so, anywho.
I mean, yeah, I think at 19, you let a lot of shit fly.
Anything goes.
Honestly.
I mean, you're not gonna cock block your friend because there's a Capri camper involved.
I know, but like
as a 19-year-old,
I still don't think I'd be like having sex with my friend. Well, actually, I never did, but I definitely think my friends did while I was in the room.
You've never done that under any circumstance?
No.
In your life?
No. I can say with certainty that I've never. No.
Okay. Guess
it's not too late though.
Guess you're just better than me and Sybil, but yeah, there's always.
I'm
tomorrow.
not saying like I haven't like there's not been like hooking up or like other, but not like sex. No. Why are you looking at me like you don't believe me?
I do believe you. It's not about you. I'm looking at you
You're
like that because I've had those, because I have, obviously.
Okay, well.
It's not about you.
I know. Well, good, I'm proud of you.
Again, I mean, I can't say that it's been in like the last 13 years or so. So yeah, I was I was young at the time, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is a young person's game right there to just like give zero fucks about who's in the room next to him. I guess, In
the same way that I've slept on like gross basement carpets after parties and shit in like my early 20s and teens. And like now for sleep to even be a possibility, I have to have a 1,000 count plush down comforter, the perfect temperature, the sound machine, all the things.
Yeah. I guess for people that like have like dorm life where they had like a shared room like that, they got down like that often. But even when the one semester I lived in a dorm, I had my own room.
Wait, pause. I didn't know you ever lived in a semester or I didn't know you went to I thought you didn't go to college.
I did for one semester.
What did you think of it? I mean, obviously you left, but.
Yeah, that's what I thought about it. I was like, not for me. I went just to like for the experience of being like, listen, I'm pretty sure I don't want to go to college, but what do I know right now? That's like, I think I should probably go just, to see what it's like, because who knows? I don't think I should make such a definitive decision at 18 years old that could change the course of my life. So maybe go check it out. If I like it and I want to stay, great. I'll be happy I did it. But if I go and I don't like it, I'm not going to force myself to stay.
Good for you for at least checking it out. Did you go to class?
Yeah, there's a few that I miss often. But yeah, those, there's some classes I actually really did enjoy. There's a class called Does ET Exist? Is a physics class. But it was about like the study of like our like solar system and planets and whether or not life could exist. It was really interesting.
Yeah, that sounds like
kind of out of my depth a little bit, but I did find it pretty fascinating.
You're basically a scholar.
For what semester I was. Anyways. All right, well, moving along.
Hey, I have a question. Do you know if you're getting enough magnesium? Believe it or not, 4 out of 5 Americans aren't, which is why we're all so tired, and I used to be one of them.
Same here. I lie awake at night and my mind be racing about all the things I had to do the next day, which left me feeling completely exhausted the next morning. And my productivity would completely tank, and it just became this vicious cycle.
That's when I found Magnesium Breakthrough. Ever since adding it to my nightly routine, I've been able to calm my mind, fall asleep faster, and wake up feeling genuinely refreshed and ready to face the day. It's been a game changer for me.
What makes Magnesium Breakthrough different from all the other supplements is that it contains all 7 forms of magnesium.
I didn't even know. I thought there was one before this.
No.
There's 7.
There's 7. Most magnesium supplements only give you 1 or 2 forms, but this one delivers everything your body needs. It doesn't just help you sleep better, it also helps you keep calm and grounded throughout the day, which is an absolute must for me.
And the best part? It comes with a 365-day money-back guarantee. So if it doesn't work for you, you can get a full refund. No questions asked. There's literally nothing to lose and everything to gain.
So if you want to sleep better and feel more relaxed, head over to buyoptimizers.com/disrespectfully and use code disrespectfully to get 10% off your order. And if you subscribe, you'll get even more discounts and free gifts, which we love. Trust me, your body will thank you.
You know, one of my favorite parts of the holidays is keeping up with traditions, but adding a little twist here and there. This year, we're starting a new tradition with Ibotta.
Ibotta is a free app that lets you earn cash back on all your purchases. Groceries, gifts, toys, even tech. It's like having extra holiday magic in your pocket. And honestly, with all the holiday shopping we do, it's a lifesaver.
The average Ibotta user earns $256 a year. Imagine how much more room that gives you in your budget to make the season even more special.
All you have to do is add offers in the app, upload your receipt, and boom, cash back, baby. You can withdraw it to your bank account, PayPal, or even get gift cards.
And you can shop at all your favorite stores, from grocery chains to places like Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. Over 1,000 retailers and 2,400 brands. Like, come on. Santa's workshop, basically.
If you haven't joined the over 50 million users already on Ibotta, now's your chance to get in on it. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying it out. All you have to do is download the free Ibotta app and use the code disrespectfully.
That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store. And use code disrespectfully to start earning cash back. Happy shopping.
So, Dana,
What?
you know how women's health has been overlooked for so long, right?
Do I ever?
I know. It's about time we had products that actually focus on things like vaginal health, hormones, menopause, and all that. That's why I'm so excited about OPOSITIV.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually started using their URO vaginal probiotic, and I have to say, it's seriously been a game changer. I'm more confident. I feel fresher throughout the day. It's made a huge diff in my life.
Same. It's crazy how things like working out, hormones, or even just regular life can throw off your vaginal health. It's like not fair.
Mm-mm.
But URO's clinically studied probiotics and prebiotic fibers tackle those issues at the core, like balancing pH, odor, and even discomfort. It's made such a difference for me.
Sure has. And I feel like it's not just about freshness, it's about comfort and confidence. If you're sexually active, which I obviously hope to be again someday, and you feel like you're prone to imbalances, URO is perfect. It's one of the top selling products at Target with over 5,000 5-star reviews. It's clearly working for so many women.
Seriously, I've been recommending it to everyone that will listen to me. You can pick it up at Target or online. And if you want to take charge of your vaginal health, head to opositive.com/DRF and use code disrespectfully at checkout to get 25% off your first purchase.
That's opositiv.com/DRF. And don't forget to use the code disrespectfully to score that 25% off. Your vagina will thank you later.
Yes, you will. Jessica says, hi, babes. OG VPR girly here. I feel like we've grown up together, Katie. Dana, I've loved you since I was first introduced to you. You are both so fucking relatable. Let's take it back to my senior homecoming night. In order to evade my ridiculous curfew, I told my mom I would just crash at my best friend's house after the dance. Of course, this was so that I could go get hammered after. Fast forward to the next morning. My friend's mom comes walking down the stairs asking me if I had a nice visit last night. Visit? Well, at some point in the middle of the night, I had gotten out of bed and told my friend that I was going to the bathroom. Apparently, I took a detour to her parents' bedroom instead. Her mom woke up to me standing at the foot of their bed, just watching over her and her husband. She called me over thinking I was her daughter. So I went to her side of the bed, whipped her comforter up, pushed her over, and tried to climb into the bed with them while shouting, Chelsea. Chelsea said we were all going to homecoming together. I think I died a little while her mom gave me a replay of my drunken visit. 14 years later, and we're still best friends, and her parents were at my wedding. I wish I could say this was the last time something like this happened to me. However, several years later, I came back to my sorority house very drunk, climbed into a random girl's bed while she was sleeping. She didn't laugh the next morning. Oops, love y'all so much. Thanks for keeping me cracking up on my morning walks. That would be so mortifying.
Whipping back the comforter is so funny.
First of all, yeah, like I don't. There's very a few like friends back in that day whose parents I was like that close to. Most of them like maybe the mom, but like not both parents. I would be so eternally mortified by that. I would never go over there again.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that it worked out for them, but yeah, like that. Did you enjoy your visit last night? Did she get in the bed with her or just whip it back?
She like pushed her. I'm sure like she didn't. It only went as that far, but like still like.
I love the mom summoning her too, thinking it was her child, and then like in the dark, and she just like comes over like she's possessed. Okay, stop me if I've told this story, but did I tell you about the time that I ran out so drunk to run to the bathroom to throw up at my ex-boyfriend's house and his parents were home and I was butt naked?
Oh my God. Wait, maybe?
I mean,
I don't know, but
that's basically what it sounds like. But I sleep naked. Obviously we were broken up at the time too. And we were on break, like I think during our senior year of college. And he was like, do you remember last night? And I was like, no. And he was like, you threw up in the middle of the night and my parents were in the living room. And I was like, what was I wearing? And he was like, nothing. So they were really nice about it. But yeah, that keeps me up at night. Really nice people.
Whew. That's, yeah. That would be a hard one to shake off.
Anonymous says, ladies, big fan since day one. Look forward to my 2 episodes a week every morning for my commute. Could literally listen to you. Keep killing it. I love you both. Let's call this roommate or criminal. Years ago, when I was in my dating around phase, I met this older guy on Tinder. We went out a few times. He always had to be done with our date by 10 p.m. And when I eventually went to his place one singular time when his roommates weren't home, I thought, okay, maybe he or his roommates work in the morning and they don't like guests. I get it. I went back to what he claimed was his place once. Remember thinking, okay, very plain. Bachelor pad, I get it. Very plain plates, dishes, super clean, no clutter. This should have been my first red flag. So I'm in the other room when he gets me a drink and was thinking how it all felt off. Ladies, always trust your gut. He came back in and we hang out. I leave before 10 p.m. The next morning, I check my wallet for my morning coffee and all my cash and cards are missing. I was so confused because I knew they were in there last night. I check all my accounts and sure as shit, my cards were used in stores around his place. I confronted him and he denied it all. Tried to say someone must have broken in while we were home.
What a terrible excuse. The boogeyman must have come in.
Like, what? It was just now that I finally decided to acknowledge red flags and block him. Fast forward to a few months later, I make a new girlfriend. She confided in me about her ex-boyfriend who was a piece of shit. She eventually said his name and my jaw dropped. Turns out, same guy. I told her my story. She had one almost the same. Let me know that he did in fact have roommates and resided in a halfway house where I am from. This is where you're housed post incarceration. So his roommates were other inmates. He openly told her, so maybe someone did steal while they were home, but I don't think someone broke in.
No.
He openly told her this when they became official and were wanting to have an overnight together. So the 10 p.m. thing, is that because it's like curfew, do you think?
Yeah.
Oy.
Boy.
So the place I went was an Airbnb where he would rent it when he had other people stay over, so they didn't know his living situation.
Wow. So he'd have to go home by 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
About 2 years after this, I get a message request on social media, an apology for using my cards / stealing them and wanting to clear his sins. I'm happy to say I survived and am now happily married with kids. Lesson of this, ladies, trust your gut and never leave your purse or wallet out of sight at a new fling's house. Never ignore a red flag. XOXO, love you both. Stay silly goosey queens.
It's scary out there.
No, it is scary out there, but it's funny, like the things that we choose to ignore. I mean, obviously I'm no better. There's so many things like that weird freak that like was definitely living a double life that you ignore, that you're like, well, maybe no, like someone has to go be home, like leave by 10 p.m. every single time you're hanging out. They either are a former inmate or have a family, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that would definitely raise a lot of questions that like they're staunchly like having to like be done hanging out with you by 10 p.m. and you go to their house, you're like, wow, like this feels like really impersonal here. Like there's like nothing, you know, like none of your shit's here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Also, he's not slick. What did he think was taking her cards is crazy.
Like,
and using them at stores around where he lived? I wonder what he bought.
Also, like, you're committing crimes. Like, you're not doing so well, buddy.
Yeah, or don't you think we're on parole for in a halfway house? We just don't know.
Oh, God. Maybe don't be dating, too, while you're in that situation. I don't know.
Yeah, you have options. You have options.
It seems like you have some healing to do.
Mm-hmm. Should we WWDD?
So WWDD.
Julia says, babes, alien emoji. I have 2 topics unrelated to one another with a load of questions out of curiosity because I love to hear your voice, opinions, and wanted to know what you'd say for funsies. The first is kind of silly, but have you ever met a person that you felt didn't match the name they were given, and do you feel like your name suits you? What name would you choose for yourself if you changed it? Okay, let's answer that first because that next one's kind of long.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your name suits you?
I think my name does suit me. I feel like I'm a Katie. Do you think I'm a Katie?
Yeah.
Do I look like a Katie?
I know, because it's hard because I can't imagine any other thing, but it's kind of like what's your shit called when it's like 7 is Thursday?
Synesthesia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's because you always say I'm Katie fucking Maloney. So like that just rings true for me.
But I feel like not all Katies like look the same. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, oh yeah, you totally look like a Steve or something, because like I feel like Steves like all look the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I don't feel like all Katies are created equally.
No, definitely not.
But yeah, I feel like I definitely look like a kitty. I don't know. What about you? Do you feel like you?
I love my name.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like Dana isn't as common of a name, and I hate when people spell it wrong, but mine is spelled weird. It's Dayna. So my mom like wanted it to be unique, and I'm like, great, not a single license plate magnet in any gift shop has ever had my name on it. But yeah, no, when I was little after Titanic, I told my mom I was going to change my name to Rose, but I'm not a Rose. I'm a Dana. I will say,
No, you're so not a Rose.
you know, like before I was on the show and no one knew who I was, I regret. My sister was like, you should not go by your last name. And I definitely regret it. And she was like, you should change it because my middle name is Ray, Rae. And she's like, you should just go by Dana Ray. And I was like, no, it seems like a middle name. I wish I had gone by Dana Ray, but spelled it Ray. So I do have a regret for that because
I don't know.
no one ever says my
still
last
like
name
it.
right.
Yeah.
And you know, that man, but
Kathy.
I do love Dana. But yeah, I feel like I also meet people all the time that you're like jump scared. That doesn't seem like you also, or like if you meet a baby named like Mildred, you know, when you meet a baby with an old person name and you're like, you're a baby.
I know sometimes it can be cute. Do you ever say names in your head and you're like, that's such a weird name. Like, how is that a name? Like when I say the name like Jeremy, I'm like, that's weird. Like, it just sounds weird. Like, it's just like Jeremy. Like, how are we calling people that?
I think if you think about anything for too long, it ends up feeling weird.
I know. Words are so weird.
Well, we do that. We're professional worders.
I know, but just sometimes I get stuck on something. I'm just like, no.
Allison, do you feel like an Allison?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Intermittent Allie?
Yeah.
Does anyone call you Allie?
Yes.
Who? Your parents?
My parents, friends. It's whatever. Whoever wants to.
Wait, I like Ellie. Ellie's cute. I don't know why I've never thought of that before. Okay, the second part of this, the second is only the deepest question to have ever asked in the history of my life. I want to hear if you are willing to share. Why do you think anything exists in the first place? Do you think that people get this answer when they die? Do you believe in reincarnation, other dimensions? What do you think outside the universe? What's up with black motherfucking holes? Main question. Why does anything exist? My teeny little human brain can't comprehend the beginning of time or the Big Bang. Yes, I understand something was the beginning, but what created the thing that created the beginning? And then what created...
Existential. Like, all right.
And then what created the thing that created the thing? Is there a beginning? Also, a little side note, I'm confused about religion versus magic. Clearly anything religious has to be magic, right? Why are things deemed magic by our society, like witches and spirits, and time travel seen as impossible or bizarre or satanic to some folks? Don't get me wrong. I respect people for believing whatever religion they do, because if that's what they feel, why am I to say no? My experience is the right one, but to believe in God or gods sounds just as unbelievable to me as believing in those others. I literally have no experience though, no clue why anything exists or what happens, and I'm excited to find out one day, hopefully when I'm a very old woman. Hee. Until then, it will always be my favorite thing to wonder and chat about it. Whether it was me as a kid watching all the Charmed and Roswell imaginable, or back in my 20s ripping bongs and binging conspiracy theories with Jessica Venture and Morgan Freeman's Through the Wormhole, to current day in my 30s explaining plastic Halloween decorations so my children aren't terrified, but then wrapping presents from Santa. With lots of love and many what the fuck going on here, your fellow alien lover, Julia Gulia.
Julia, are we sure we're not still ripping that bong? Like, what? I want what you're smoking.
Okay, here's the thing. Julia, I relate to you. I think about this all the time, actually. Like,
well, of course. I think everybody has these thoughts of just like, why are we here? How are we here? Who was here first? Like and of course there's a million theories and beliefs depending on what your, background, creed, beliefs, whatever you want to call it are.
What's yours for her big main question, which is why does anything exist? And feel free to go into any of the other categories.
Is it why or how? The why is
I think it's both, but she's asking why. Why does anything exist?
I don't know why. Why does it exist? It just fucking exists.
Do you think we're Sims for an alien somewhere?
No, I mean,
Like,
I don't
maybe.
know why things exist. I mean, like, yes, like, okay, there's universes. There's multiple universes, and I don't know why the fuck those exist. Like, how deep and broad do you want to take it? But I don't know why the fuck we exist. I don't know how we exist. It's just the fact that we are.
What do you think happened? Like I like we could obviously go so far into this, but I think why is really hard to answer. How, okay, like Big Bang Theory, evolution, depending on what you believe.
The why is a that I can't even think about why. It's just it just is.
When she says why and do you think we find out someday, I personally believe we do find out someday. I don't necessarily think it's
what's the meaning of it all. Or sure, I think that we find out the meaning of life, that kind of thing. I like that question more than like why does anything exist? Well, like the purpose of these things?
Well, I know. I mean, I personally think someday we'll find out why. Why are we here? Like, I think that's an interesting question. And also, I absolutely believe in reincarnation. I definitely believe in other dimensions.
Oh, for sure.
Black holes are scary.
I believe in like, yeah, there's like other universe, like other, what do you call it? Lifetime or not, what do you call it? What am I trying to say?
Dimensions?
Yeah. Parallel universes. Yeah. And like the people that like shift between them and stuff like that. I think that's just really interesting.
Yeah, I think, well, and when they're talking about religion versus magic, I think that's a really interesting one too. I actually think they're kind of one and the same. And like, it just, everyone is obviously entitled to whatever you believe. But I think that sometimes people call one thing multiple different things, but it kind of has the same meaning. Like, you know, some people say praying, some people say manifesting, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's all very interconnected.
Whatever makes sense to you and speaks to you and you're like, yeah, that resonates, then go with that.
Yeah. I'm kind of a student of some conspiracy theories. I think there are some things that we just cannot explain, and I can't wait to find out what all those things are.
I think just the biggest thing that we can't explain is the why, but the how I think is a lot of just like evolution.
I mean, I think about like, what did it look like before the Big Bang? Was it just white, like in the train station in Harry Potter when what's his name is a little like balled up little shrew, Voldemort, and Dumbledore comes out and he's like, of course it's in your head. That doesn't mean it isn't real. Like that scene.
Mm-hmm.
So like, did it look like that? Was Dumbledore there? I just don't know.
Probably.
It's very exciting to think about, but it's also, you could, if you really sit down, you could like go down so many rabbit holes with that.
For sure. I don't know about Big Bang. I can't just imagine that it's just like boom and then all this shit's like here. Like, no, I think it was a much longer, slower process than that.
I hope we find out. Also, Julia, love how curious you are as a person.
Mm-hmm. Stay curious,
I'm with
my
you.
friend.
Stay curious.
Megan says, hey ladies, let me start off by saying you're both queens. I've listened since day one and been obsessed with Katie all through VPR. Thank you for bringing the disrespect. I need relationship advice. Don't eye roll me too hard. Y'all have a solution to everything, so who better to ask?
I love that.
I love that. My boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years now. I have 2 children from a previous relationship and he has 1. But we have custody of all 3, so we have 3 kids. I don't want more. I also don't believe in marriage. I believe in monogamy and soulmates and being with one person for the rest of my life. I just don't believe in the legal union of a partnership. Both of these things I've been very honest about from day one, and I thought we were on the same page, but now he's making comments that are making me think differently. Things like, would you ever marry me? And I know we don't want to get married, but if we did, I would want to do this at our wedding. The other night we were laying in bed and joking about selling one of his testicles for extra cash, and he says, no, I wouldn't actually do that. I know we said we didn't want more kids, but if we ever changed our minds, she says, I'm not going to change my mind. Am I being a bitch? Should I just be flattered that he feels this way for me? Do I need to have some sort of serious face conversation with him to reiterate how I feel? Do I marry him to make him happy? I love him. Oh, girls, I love him. I don't want to lose him, but also he deserves to have everything he wants. Help, what do I do? Thanks for all your laughs. I love you, girls. I mean, I think he's maybe trying to like take your temperature to see if like maybe after being with him, if you've possibly changed your mind. Because I think some people maybe like they've said that because they haven't found the person that they would maybe want to marry. Because I think some people that's the thing is that they're just like, I never want to get married. And then they meet somebody, they're like, well, maybe I could marry this person. So maybe he's just trying to like feel you out on that. And because he looks at you as somebody that he could spend the rest of his life with and maybe wants to like have that marriage. So I think be flattered about that, obviously, but I think next time he says that, I think just like it doesn't need to be like this like stern like no, like, but just be like, hey, I know I can't tell if like you're like joking, but like I really want to like find out if you're being serious about that, because I've been pretty serious about my opinions and feelings about that. And if you are serious and this is something that you do really want, you know, I want you to have that, and I don't think I can ever give that to you. But you have to be honest about that as well, because, you know, if you don't want to lose him, could this be something that you could give him?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it kind of sounds cliche because we offer this in a lot of opinions, but it's true. I think that you need to sit with yourself first and really evaluate. Like, I don't think that really anyone should enter into a marriage to make another person happy. I think that that typically ends up being unsuccessful. But I think that if you think it's something that you could change into, or it doesn't really matter to you as much, but it really matters to the person you love and you would like to keep your relationship together, definitely something worth considering. But also, if you know within yourself, hard line, like this, I just don't want to do this. You should not have to do anything you don't want to do just to keep someone. So I would say maybe have a little chat with yourself. And then, like Katie said, just have a conversation with them. Sounds like you guys have a lot of history and a lot of love. So you should be able to be open and just point out, like, you've been saying more of this lately, and I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from and like what's going on with you.
Yeah, I think that's the best plan of action.
Then ask him to get a vasectomy. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, because I mean, he might just be like, it might just be chit chat, pillow talk, not entirely sure, but he might also just be looking to see how you react as well. But
also, good luck.
Yeah,
we love you. Anonymous says, hello, legends/ladies. First of all, you're both amazing. Love the podcast, love both of you, and look forward to listening to episodes all the time. Seeking a little advice as I'm at a bit of a loss. I've been married for 8 years, together for 17. We've been through everything you could think of and more, and still have stuck together. More recently, I have been absolutely exhausted. I'm a mom of 2 little ones. I run a day home, and the aforementioned 2 little ones are in a ton of activities. Between work, housework, and momming, I rarely feel like having sex with my husband. We go through phases where we will have sex 2 or 3 times a week, or other times it is once a week or less. Anyways, the other night I told him I was far too tired, and then he called me a prude. What a little bitch, right? I was very annoyed and offended by his response, but didn't have it in me to have a discussion, so I went to bed. It's been 2 days and I'm still pissed off and hardly speaking to him. So WWDD. How can I move forward and explain to him that sometimes my vagina is also tired? Sincerely, Anonymous.
I mean, 2 to 3 times a week is still pretty solid for 17 years and 8 years. And on top of everything you do, like, he should be thrilled about that, I think. So.
I feel like 2 to 3 times a week, and other times it's once a week or less. But like, I think most relationships go with ebbs and flows with that. And it doesn't sound like it's a thing where you do not want to have sex with him. It sounds like it's a thing where you are tired, which makes sense. So him calling you a prude, that's very basement-y to me. Don't like that. I don't think you're a prude. I think you're an exhausted working mom.
How does you just being too tired equal prude?
It doesn't.
Yeah, he needs to.
Here, just have him come in and take a seat with you while you're listening to this podcast. Let us pull up a chair. Let's have a chat with him real quick. Sir, your wife is very tired. She's amazing. She's doing a lot, and she still wants to bone you after all this time, but sometimes is physically exhausted. Please don't ever call her a prude again.
Yeah.
Or we're going to stick you in our basement.
Exhaustion is real. It's like sometimes when guys are like too drunk, they keep their dick hard. No one's calling you a prude. It's like, we get it. Sometimes there's contributing factors to not being able to like physically have sex.
Right.
And it's no one's fault. You just have to like be just tell him to be patient. And you know what? Maybe if he like can, I don't know, help with the little ones, you'll have a little energy at the end of the day. Huh? How about that?
From the sweat equity in the household. Well, also, I think you're asking, how do you have that conversation? First of all, you need to say that hurt my feelings. Also, it doesn't encourage me to have sex with you when you name call when I'm not up for having sex. So let's just go ahead and knock that off, first of all. But also, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what I have the capacity for day to day. And if something has to fall off and you're not helping me with these things, kind of like what you're saying, then sex is the thing that's going to go. So maybe we could reprioritize some things and work on having more time for intimacy once everything else is taken care of.
Yeah, but derogatory terms and like offending me in the process isn't exactly going to get me wet. So maybe think about that.
There's not enough KY in the world.
Yeah.
After you call me a prude, be like, I'll show you what a prude is and show up in a bonnet the next day.
No, honestly, like you want to like try a little foreplay next time. Don't call me a prude.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
You're not a prude.
All right. Well, Kerrigan says, hi, Katie and Dana. My name is Kerrigan, she/her, and I'm 20 years old. First, I want to tell you guys just how much this podcast means to me. Hearing your advice and humor each week makes my commute to school even better. Also, I have to tell you, I love VPR, and it's a show my grandma and I binge and watch and bond over. I love that you watch with your grandma.
That's so cute.
Now, on to my question. I have never had a real boyfriend other than a brief stint in high school. And other than a few dates, nothing since then. I had a really hard time with my mental health this year. Your podcast helped me get through some hard times, by the way. And I finally realized I'm not in fact crazy, but just have a mood disorder. I have been medicated now for a little while, and I can confidently say that this is the best thing that I've ever done. I feel like I have zest for life again. I'm happy to hear that. All that to say, I have not had a real desire to date for the past year, and I thought that was due to my mental state. But now that I'm feeling better, I'm finding that I still do not want a partner or care too much about a romantic relationship. I do not feel like conceding my time and energy for a person right now, and I'm very happy and fulfilled with myself. However, at the same time, a lot of my friends have boyfriends or are dating, and I feel a little self-conscious about the fact that I don't care, and sometimes I wish I could force myself to. But I know in my heart that I'm happy how I am now. How do you guys deal or would deal with the conflicting pressures of caring about dating but knowing that it's not the right time? Also, how do I not feel like I'm missing out on experiences that other people around me are having? Sometimes I feel like I should just do things for the plot, but I know I wouldn't feel right or natural. I do my best to remind myself that I am young, but it still feels difficult at times. Love you both. Kerrigan, like, live your best life. Like, you're not missing out on dating because you don't want to. I think being so confident and comfortable being alone is something that so many people wish that they could attain.
Yeah.
Like, people work really hard in therapy and just like self-affirmations and trying to work to that kind of confidence is just be like confident in being alone. There's so many people that are so like codependent and just cannot just be okay with not wanting to date. Like, they're constantly like searching for validation in men or women or whatever it might be, that like they just like, you have that innately, and I think you should like really embrace this time, because I think the time will come where you're going to be like, you know what? I think I really like this person. Or I think I really do want to go on a date with this person. Like, I think like let it find you and don't go searching for it.
You're so ahead of the curve. And the fact that you're only 20, it took me 32 years to get to where you are. So don't pressure yourself because you feel like you should be doing something. Just like Katie said, live your best life.
You have so much time.
You'll know, and also you'll know when it's time. You're probably gonna skip dating a lot of losers and end up just dating people that you actually really like and that make you feel good, which is amazing.
Yeah, honestly, you're not missing out on much right now. Just, if anything, look around you and see what your friends are doing. Like, you're not missing out. Like, just enjoy it. Hang out, have fun, travel, find out who you are. Date yourself right now.
Visit
honestly.
your granny.
Yeah.
Hang out with her, watch more TV.
Like, truly just date yourself right now. Like, figure out like life. I don't know. Because like, again, like what's going to happen is you're going to end up dating someone who's going to suck up, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years of your life. And then just, that's going to be it. That's the honest God truth. Like, I don't know.
Enjoy this time, and also proud of you for getting help and figuring out what it was that you need. And you're right, you're not crazy. And I'm glad that you're feeling better. That's amazing.
Me too. Tell your grandma hi.
Tell her to say what's up. McKenna says, hi, Katie and Dana. I love the podcast and both of you so much, especially the 2 episodes a week. I think my question is more for Katie. First of all, I love Vanderpump Rules. Not to sound like a weirdo, but it's my favorite Comfort Bravo show and got me through an awful breakup that happened in May. This man was abusive in every meaning of the word and cheated on me with anyone that had a pulse. I was watching one of the seasons where the Toms were opening Shorts and Sandy's, but even before that train wreck, they definitely showed how much Sandoval was a thorn in your side throughout your relationship. This was so eerily similar to my ex and his best friend. I couldn't help but hide how much I hated his best friend by the end, and it was so exhausting for me. Also, having owned a house with him and had my name tattooed on him, but it felt like his life partner was his best friend and not me. Such a mindfuck. Which is funny considering Tom's tattoo. Anyway, I wasn't with him as long, but I have not been single in basically my entire adult life. I'm also a full-time grad student, and I'm having so much fun reconnecting with friends and dating. When I don't have plans, I feel lost, and I'm wondering how in the world you navigated getting comfortable being alone after a long-term relationship. I really want to feel comfortable spending time by myself without getting sad and spiraling. Thank you for any advice that you have, and I love just listening to you two chat every week. It's definitely a bright spot and helps me remember I'm a badass bitch that will get through this breakup and learn to love myself. I'm excited to buy some merch and check out something about her in the future. Love you both, McKenna.
Well, McKenna, we have been through similar things.
Does Tom still have that tattoo?
Yeah, as far as I know. I mean, I don't ask him like, so how's that tattoo doing?
How's that ass doing?
Yeah, no. Honestly, yeah, like also having not been single for like a majority of my adult life, it was a little scary and like it was just weird, like all of a sudden just going back to that life, you know, and the landscape of dating had changed quite a bit, but also like not in that way. But I think because when you go through a breakup, a lot of it is because you want to choose yourself because that person didn't choose you. And you're like, you know what, I'd rather just be alone than with somebody who's not showing up for me. So I think that's something that you need to like remind yourself of. And so every day, like do something for yourself. Like you get to just live for yourself every day. You're not prioritizing another person. So I think that is sort of like the mindset that you need to be in all the time, and just have fun with your friends. Do like, expand your network of friends. Like do the things that make you happy. Do the things that you didn't get to do when you're with this person. I think it's just a one day at a time kind of situation, and not put any kind of pressure on yourself or be too hard on yourself or feel like you should be further along in the process, because, you know, it's not linear. It's going to be a little all over the place. But I think remembering that you are badass, like you just said, I think just, yeah, being kind to yourself, but, you know, just doing something every day that makes you happy and just being like, I get to do whatever I want. It's going to make me happy today. And I get to hang out with my friends. And yeah, it's me. It's all about me now.
Yeah, it is. The only thing I would add to that, that's all of that 100%. But also don't get too discouraged when you feel lonely or sad. That's also like part of the process, you know? And like, I think that more often than not, things are going to be, like you said, expanding and opening up and feel exciting. But it's okay when you're feeling bummed out. That's part of it. That's part of healing.
You kind of like have to lean into that a little bit. You got to just like embrace that like raw feeling.
Yeah. It sucks at the time, but it's what I think catapults the most growth.
Oh yeah, no, you can't avoid
There's no
those feelings.
that part.
No, if anything, just be sad, cry, scream, cry.
Lay in bed on TikTok for 12 straight hours during a day. It's thrilling.
Yeah, because
see how much you learn.
I think the more you like lean in and feel those emotions, the less nights you have that are lonely. The less they come.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's more of like a dull, sinking, always there pain if you don't just let it like face it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Sometimes I would be like, this week is gonna suck, but then the next like month is gonna be great. I don't know. You can't predict it, but I just felt like, yeah, the less I tried to just like, I don't know, avoid those feelings, the less they came around. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
And you are a bad bitch, and you are gonna get through it. And we're very excited for you.
Absolutely. Okay, Leanne says, my best friend and I have been friends for about 20 years now. She and I have always agreed on women's rights, LGBTQ, and how some politicians are a piece of shit. The other day, I went to see her at a fair she was working at that had many conservative views. She texted me that night and thanked me for coming. I replied and said I was glad to see her and how it was this conservative candidate's land with LOL after. She replied with how he's surprisingly a nice guy. I asked her if she meant this man, and she said, yes, I'm flabbergasted. I don't know how to reply or if I can support this mindset. What can you do if your best friend has such opposite human right thoughts than you? Thank you for any advice. This hurts more than a breakup. listen, I understand, especially in this climate and in general, it can be really hard when you have such kind of staunch, passionate opinions and really, it's like your integrity is so involved in that when you have friends and people that are close to you that don't align with all those things. And I think the best thing you can do if you want to keep those friendships intact is to try to have conversations and understand maybe where they're coming from, because maybe they have interesting or good points of view on it, or they can at least back up their reasonings for it. But I think approaching it with compassion is the best thing you can do. I don't think, you want to be able to come from the mindset of just like, I'm right and my opinions are right and everything else is wrong. But like, you can't completely disrespect somebody that you've known for so long and their feelings. I think that's not necessarily fair to do right off the bat. Obviously, I don't know who you're talking about necessarily, but I think just asking them questions to start with and, having at least be a conversation and not writing them off immediately, because ask them how they got to this point. Ask them why. I think having it just be a fair conversation is what you owe to this friendship.
Yeah, I think curiosity is a good place to start. And I think that honestly, part of the reason that things are so difficult right now in terms of people being on one side of the fence or other politically is because people are so passionate about it. And I mean, obviously there's people making things divisive, but people come at it from putting people on the defense immediately. Like when you like come at someone instead of just saying like, I'm curious why when she said, do you mean this man? And she said, yes, say, I'm like curious about what about that you mean, like this policy, and this policy, you feel like that.
Like maybe she doesn't agree with his policies. She just thinks that he's like a nice guy.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like if you come at it from a standpoint of just jumping down their throat, which I don't think we're saying you're going to do, but I don't think you're going to get anywhere. But I also think it's fair to say, for me, it's different to me if someone has a differing opinion on fiscal policies or whatever, but I do draw the line at things that have to do with human rights and like racism is a hard no for me, and sexism and homophobia. And so I think that it's great if you can find middle ground with someone and just agree to disagree, but it's also okay to have hard lines in the sand of like, oh, is this your way of thinking? Like, because you think this person's not that bad of a guy, then like, what do you align with about this? So I think it's also okay to find out more and then go from there.
Yeah, find out what appeals like them to this person, like what is appealing about them before just being like, this is awful, because I don't know, maybe it's not as terrible as you think.
I wish we knew who it was.
I always want to say like try to be open minded, because I don't know, maybe they just think like, yeah, like they have terrible viewpoints, but they're like surprisingly nice. Like I don't like kind of a mind fuck. Yeah. Anyway, I hope it works out.
Hope this helps. Meredith says, hi, Katie and Dana. I've been inspired by your confidence and the wisdom you share in your show. I'm curious to know what experiences or practices have contributed to your development of confidence and self-assurance. How did you cultivate the confidence that you now exemplify so seamlessly? Thank you so much, Meredith. Well, Mare, I would say for me personally, it was a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of trial and error out there.
The horror.
The error. Trial and error for me. My mom, I was very lucky to have her as a mother, but she instilled early and often confidence in me and my sister and like drilled it into our skull that we were that bitch, but then just made us feel so supported and, all the things that you could wish from a mother. So I was very lucky. But then when she passed away, I realized that I didn't even have self-esteem. Like I had just accepted her projections and like thought I believed it. But then when I no longer had her in my world, I realized that it didn't actually belong to me. And so I was just like an empty shell that needed to rebuild and figure it out. So I went through a lot of difficult times, a lot of bad experiences, a lot of, things I wish I could have sidestepped. But they all were building blocks to get to where I am now, which is very unfuckwithable. Like, have learned to let go of the things that I can't control and be the best version of myself that I can be, and consistently want to be better and like show up for the people in my life better and show up for myself better. And over time that just became confidence, and also fake it till you make it. Sometimes it's a front. Like sometimes I walk in a room with my head held high and, act the way I act, but I'm shaking in my little boots.
I'd say it's like, a part healthy dose of delusion, high sense of self. But no, because truly it is like, it sounds insane but you have to like really think that you're the fucking shit.
Totally.
And like people are like, well, no, you want to like be demure and have humility. You can have those things, but still really think that you are amazing. You have to speak to yourself in a way that like really does boost yourself up and like hype yourself up, because you might be the only person in the room or ever that's going to do that. You can't rely on validation from other people. You have to be able to give that to yourself and give it to yourself consistently and every day. It's wonderful if you do have that around you, because like that's dope. But like, I think being able to, whether it's just, I don't know, practicing gratitude of like things you have in your life, or just like physical attributes that you want to speak to yourself or something like that. But I think it's just giving zero fucks about people's opinions about you. That is a really difficult one to overcome, because it's not easy, because it's still gonna like affect you, but it will start to affect you less the more you practice that. Like the only opinion of yourself that matters is the one of your own. But it's just something you have to like work at every day. I think that it's just like the relationship that you have of yourself and the opinions that you have of yourself and the way you see yourself is just, that relationship that you have with yourself is the one that you just like work at every day.
In the meantime, like I said, fake it till you make it. But
that's why, yeah, but that's what you're saying. It's like when I approach everything, I'm like, well, of course you should want to hang out with me. I'm Katie fucking Maloney. I'm fun. I'm cool. I'm a great friend. I'm a blast to hang out with. Like say shit like that to yourself, whether you believe it or not, whether it's true or not, it is fucking true. And the more you say it, the more like those things become real. You speak that kind of shit into existence, and it just like, the confidence follows. Just understand that.
Did you ever see the experiment they did where it was two different plants? I feel like maybe we've talked about this, and there was like a line of people, and one group complimented their plant, and then the other group talked shit to their plant.
Oh no.
And they were given the same water and light and everything, and the plant that got talked shit to died, and the other one group. Do you have chills?
Yeah, that makes me so sad.
I talk to my plant when she's looking, and I swear to God, it's better than water. Point being, water yourself. Like it matters what we say to ourselves.
Oh my God.
Sometimes, and it's also this is like not a perfect science. Like sometimes I'm better at it than others, but gas yourself up.
The words you speak are spells. So be careful of the things that you say, because
I hate being a millionaire. I'm such a little millionaire. Wow. Look at me, millionaire.
You have to say, I love being a millionaire.
I love being a millionaire. I'm nowhere even remotely close to being a millionaire. I'm just saying, but
she's practicing.
That's me practicing. I love being a millionaire.
Mohammed says, hi guys, big fan of the show since day one. It's always great to have a laid back shit talking podcast in my rotation, particularly one that provides me, a man, two valuable female perspectives on different issues. I'll try and keep this short. Context: you often remind listeners in their 20s that we have effectively the rest of our lives ahead of us, and that we should view any challenges we come across through this lens. This very much resonates with me. I am 24, healthy, have just started my master's in a new city, have a supportive family, am half decent at making friends, etc. Many reasons to be hopeful. Question: have you ever, in your 20s or otherwise, been visited by the feeling that your best days are behind you, whether socially, professionally, or romantically? What do you do in these moments to carry on? Thanks, and keep fighting the BS. I like this question a lot.
I also just like love you, Mohammed. I can just tell you're like a sweet, wonderful person. Everything about this. Thank you for writing this.
And I hope everything is going well for your master's.
I do too.
As much as like this perspective is 100% true, it's not necessarily true. And I think 100%. I've been haunted by those thoughts of just like, especially when we're talking about like being a kid and being so carefree. It's like those were the best days. Honestly, you didn't have to worry about a damn thing. I get excited looking forward because I've learned so much and had so much life experience that I get to like use and put into practice every day, that I'm just like looking forward to the rest of my life, however much I got left of it, that I wouldn't go back necessarily. I like to look forward and be excited about the unknown and like what's around the corner, and just like, I don't know, I like to be excited about possibility. So that's kind of what I do if I'm ever like haunted by like, ooh, the best years have gone by. Like, no, I think that's silly. I like to reminisce, but yeah, I think it's just I get more excited about what's ahead.
Yeah, well, and also the thing is, we have this perspective to offer because the life experiences that we've had. So like, for instance, there's a specific example in my mind of being 28 years old. I was on my friend's bachelorette trip in Mexico, and I was sitting on a beach crying to another friend of ours, being like, because everyone was in a relationship there, and like I'm always the single person, and I had gone through a really horrible breakup, and I was like, when is it my turn? Blah blah blah. I literally wish I could go back in time and pick myself up by the shoulders and absolutely bitch slap me across open palm across the face. Like, girl, you're 28 years old and now I'm 34 and I have never been less worried about finding a relationship in my life. And I spent years and years and years seeking love for external validation because I was incapable of loving myself at the time. But I thought my best days were, I was like, I don't have time, blah, blah, blah. And yes, that's just about one area of our life in romance. But like, the point is, I now have such a different perspective. And I'm like, that it was such a ridiculous way of thinking. But furthermore, in terms of what we were just talking about a second ago with being delusional, why wouldn't you just want to be optimistic and positive and like think the best days are ahead? What is the point if you every day wake up and you're like, well, that was a good 2 years in my 20s. Like, no, the best days are ahead of you, because speak that into reality. And I think that we go through different phases where we prioritize different things and, this is important and that. But then, so like the next best phase for you might be a new category that you didn't even realize was something that you wanted to achieve. And again, nothing's a perfect science. And it's not like every day we wake up and we're like, let's rock this bitch. But like, I can tell you with certainty, I have absolutely had my moments of doubt, and I've been wrong every time.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And you're getting your master's. That's so cool in a new city. And I bet you're I bet you're whole decent at making friends.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, thank you for the really sweet question. I love that.
I love that. We had to this was like kind of a deep thinking.
This was a deep episode, but I'm also worried that it was deeply unfunny and boring, not because of your guys' questions, but because of us. Like, I feel like this was so boring today.
What?
Was it?
No.
Okay, I'm worried about it.
You worry too much.
No, I do, but like today particularly, for some reason, I'm just feeling off. But I hope you guys got
it's
something.
Because there was no poop stories. We're lacking in the poop department. I think that's why.
You're so right. You are so right.
Okay, next week, more poop.
More poop next week.
Love you, bye. Maybe the week after. Okay.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Babe, you're going to see the power of women. Like, disrespectfully.